Next, we have round 2 of the startup stage. Our judges will be Matt Rozak from Tally Capital. We'll have Steve Waterhouse from Pantera. We'll have Peter Todd, Bitcoin Core developer, and Flip will be coming back out as the 4th judge. We've got a very exciting range of startups. And I'll just say right now I have a bit of a bias because I work for one of them. Maybe I'll just give you a hint. It's the best one. That's probably all you need to know. But in the meantime, our first startup will be STORJ, and who will be speaking as the founder, Sean Wilkinson.
All right, I think we have a video. Can you guys run it? Supposedly there should be audio with this, but I don't think there's going to be. Oh well. Hello, my name is Sean Wilkinson. I'm the lead developer for STORJ. We were going to have a nice video up here, but I'll give you the pitch anyways. So if you were to break it down into a very quick summary, we're like Airbnb for your hard drive. So we take your free extra hard drive space and you're able to sell it to other users. On the other end of that, we have a encrypted cloud storage platform, so you can think of Dropbox or backup-like applications where only you, the user, have access to that file, not some company somewhere that's going to lose it or get it hacked. So why would we even create something like this platform? Simple poll, raise your hand if you use cloud storage, Dropbox, Google Drive, any kind of cloud storage provider. Now keep your hand raised if you trust them with all of your files and data. And for the people who still have their hands raised, keep them raised if you trust them with all your Bitcoin private keys as well. We lost most of the people. So essentially, a lot of people use cloud storage today, but there's a lot of problems with it. We all know what happened with Sony the other day, and a lot of problems with that is in the model. So you take your file, you throw it on Dropbox, and then it goes to some server farm somewhere, some data center, and then you hope they don't lose it. But now, with increasing frequency, they do, or it gets hacked or stolen. And us as users, we don't like that much. So we created this platform where instead the file is encrypted on your hard drive, on your computer, with only keys that you have access to, not some third-party company. Then we split that file into small little chunks, and then we can distribute where it needs to go. And as a part of that, why do we even need the company? Why do we even need the data center anymore? Why can't we take some extra free hard drive space from Bob over here and distribute that encrypted portion of that file on his hard drive, and we can reward it for him? So we can eliminate the middleman, and that allows us to bring down the cost significantly in terms of cloud storage. And the other portion of that is that there's no central entity, no central provider, so it's a lot more private and a lot more secure. So this is the platform that we've been building out, and you can actually see the live network right now. So we did a crowdfund about 4 months ago, raised about $500,000 through that, and we've been using that to fund the free and open source work. So that is the live network that we launched about 3 weeks ago. We're getting back live data, so we can use that to make informed, data-driven decisions on the network. So we're all about slow scaling, taking the network starting from 10 users, 100 users, 1,000, how you deploy large distributed systems. So we're learning a lot from that portion, and then we're also working a little bit on the corporate side as well in terms of abstracting away all the crypto, Bitcoin, mumbo-jumbo stuff for an average company that wants to use these tools like Sony. And we can abstract all that away from them, make them have plug-and-play tools that they can use on the platform. We can easily build that for them. So that's where we make the money, but we still have it as a free open-source platform. So that's it.
Great job. Congrats on launching. How many nodes do you have deployed right now?
Sure. So we have about, if you can go back on the website, we can see the live number. Last time I checked today, it was about 66. So we are intentionally limiting that to a small number of participants that participate in a crowd sale. just so we can deploy the system and make sure everything is testing and working. Last week we had a breakthrough where we could actually scale the farmers from 100 bytes to 100 gigabytes per farmer. So we're rolling that out at the end of the month, getting a lot more data on capacity, but right now we're just getting network statistics essentially.
How do you proliferate? Because I feel like the number of nodes is going to help with obviously the security and the building out this infrastructure. How do you get more of those node operators signed up?
So that's fairly simple in terms of the people who are willing and wanting to operate these nodes. We have people just banging on our doors and our emails to get into this. So we're intentionally limited because we don't want a huge influx of people as we test out the system, but we have 11,000 people signed up to use it.
You know, you go make the comparison to Airbnb, although really Airbnb is operating in a very differentiated market, whereas what you're really saying, selling sounds much more like a simple commodity service, you know, selling hard drive storage. Do you think it's really an apt comparison?
I think it's a comparison that people understand a little bit more. So if you talk about average commodities with, you know, grandma, she's probably not going to be able to understand that. But a lot of people have heard of Airbnb, so they kind of get that analogy.
So do you think you're going to end up in a situation where a lot of, or I should say a small number of very big providers end up providing a lot of the storage space?
I think it's going to be mixed, and it depends on the application. So you might have an application where you need very low latency, and so you might be going to a data center who has some excess capacity, and they want to lease that out. Versus something like a backup application, that's something that you drop in there and you may never access it again. And so those applications would tend to normal everyday users. So there's a lot of variety of applications that will have different data storages. So some will be in centralized data centers, some will be more expansive to average users. It depends on the application.
How do you guys make money? How do you make money?
How do we make money?
Yeah.
So essentially, we're building out a free open source platform. So we're building out the hammer and the screwdriver. Where we actually make money is building the house. So we take, again, corporate entities and other entities that want to use the software, but they don't care about the crypto mumbo-jumbo stuff. They just want it to work. So we build those tools for them, just like the Red Hat model, essentially. Yeah.
How do you create value for yourselves, and how do you harvest that value, and how much of that do you share with the participants who either provide the storage or consume the storage?
So in terms of our corporate entity, Storage Labs, that's more as data as a service and also software development. That's how we make our money. In terms of the platform, we want to make it as free and open as Bitcoin. So Satoshi's not taking a fee for every single Bitcoin transaction. He just provided the platform, and then he has a bunch of Bitcoins on the side or whatnot. Or the core developers are not charging a fee for every Bitcoin transaction. They just create the platform, and they're making money off of freelancing and other portions.
Is this running on the blockchain?
So we use the blockchain in a variety of methods. So for example, the token that we're using in the system runs on Counterparty, which runs on the Bitcoin blockchain. The other portion is we want to be able to do real-time auditing of all this information. So that's done through essentially proof of existence through the Bitcoin blockchain.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, well, that's not going to happen. Up next is the CEO of AIRBITZ, Paul Boy.
In 2012, two of the most promising entrepreneurs in the Bitcoin ecosystem came together to build what could have been the world's largest Bitcoin company. But they disagreed on one fundamental thing: who would own the private keys? Brian Armstrong believed that he and his company needed to own the private keys to really protect users from mistakes of their own, such as forgetting their password, and to provide better ease of use. Ben Reeves believed in the core fundamentals of Bitcoin, and that people should have financial autonomy and financial privacy, and that they should control their own private keys. What ensued were two very different Bitcoin companies. One that effectively modeled the legacy banking system and controlled people's funds, but also gave up a lot of the advantages of the Bitcoin protocol. And the other gave people that financial autonomy, but at the cost of ease of use and familiarity to many users. I'm proud to say that today AIRBITZ has accomplished the goals of both of those entrepreneurs. My name is Paul Pui. I'm CEO and co-founder of AIRBITZ, and our vision is the mass adoption of Bitcoin through ease of use and ease of security. Bitcoin today is not easy to use. It requires to do funny things like back up your money by encrypting it and printing out a PDF or writing down 12-character passphrases, things that are just definitely unfamiliar to Bitcoin, to normal users, and looking at long cryptic public addresses and pairing your device, things that definitely don't help advance the Bitcoin ecosystem. With AIRBITZ, creating a wallet and creating an account is nothing more than a login, a password, and a 4-digit PIN, something that people can handle. And automatically your wallet and your account is encrypted, and it's backed up onto peer-to-peer distributed servers. And we've added a lot of ease-of-use functionality, such as being able to pay over Bluetooth, eliminating QR codes, and tagging your transaction with payee, category, and notes, things that are very useful for financial tracking and tax compliance. And the testimonials have been incredibly positive. Ernest Hancock, who you see here in the slide, is a radio show host. He has a radio show Monday through Friday, and he has been advocating Bitcoin for 3 years, but has not been able to recommend a wallet until AIRBITZ. Proud to say that he adamantly recommends AIRBITZ today, and we're actually the first mobile wallet that his wife has installed on her phone. And we're also nominated as a top 3 best Bitcoin app in 2014 at the Blockchain Awards. We're so focused on ease of security that we're actually the only Bitcoin wallet that allows users to recover their password in a few easy steps. And it's actually going to get a lot easier in Q1 with the new implementation. And we're also proud to say that we're going to be implementing the world's easiest 2-factor authentication, something that we know is needed for security, but most people love to hate. At the push of a single button, you'll be able to enable 2-factor, and that's it. There's no copying of 6-digit codes. There's no backing up of a token. You just push a button. That's how focused we are on ease of security. And we've done all of this with a very high level of decentralization. So decentralized, in fact, that our wallet can operate about 95% functionality even when AIRBITZ servers are down. People can send and receive funds, no problem. This is a promise that not even those 2 entrepreneurs can make with the current implementation of their wallet with their companies today. AIRBITZ has effectively implemented the most anti-fragile and fault-tolerant Bitcoin platform available. And we're pretty convinced that this is what it takes to bring Bitcoin to the masses and to the next billion users.
Thank you.
Thanks.
While I certainly agree with your goals, it's still not clear to me how any of this actually works. Have you had this done with, say, have you submitted this, say, an independent security review? I mean, is this open source software?
It is open source software. The architecture for the current password recovery. I'm assuming you're asking about the password recovery and the 2-factor authentication.
Everything.
Everything. Well, it would be a long discussion that I would absolutely love to have with you, Peter, and something that I want you to look at. We have had an independent security audit of the architecture through Christoph Atlas, through many of our wallet, and we're looking at continuing that with him and other security experts like yourself going forward. But we'd be happy to share it with you, and it is open source, and we have a lot of documentation on our website, which you're welcome to look at.
Could you give us a little insight into the number of users you have and revenue and all of the other maybe cap table items of how much money you've raised?
Where should I start here? So, number of users. We launched our wallet in October. We have 3,000 downloads, 2,400 users. Can't speak of the cap table right now. Money we've raised, I'd rather speak in private about that as well. But the one thing that I can say is that definitely our testimonials have been incredibly positive. The one thing that we are is a pretty strong product company. The one thing we need to work on is getting the word out there. That's the thing that we're looking for our fundraising round to help with, is really getting the word out there. There's a lot of established players, especially the early players in the Bitcoin space, and they've established their name, but we think that we've definitely built a significantly better product than a lot of them.
Just on where the keys reside, this decentralized servers, these AIRBITZ servers, tell me a little bit more about that. How does that work? And what's the incentive to run one?
So those servers right now are hosted by AIRBITZ. They are peer-to-peer, they're distributed, but they're hosted by AIRBITZ. And they are peer-to-peer in the sense that your phone and your app on your phone is smart enough to look for one of those servers and push data to them. and it pushes to all the other servers as a backup. And if any of those servers go down, and they do go down, and they actually have gone down with the private providers that we use, but the phone is smart enough to just use different ones. So you can push to one server, it broadcasts to the rest, similar to the Bitcoin blockchain, but it's implemented using, once again, software that we use. It's going to be open source. And in reality, we'd love to actually implement more decentralized alternatives, such as storage and MadeSafe, but they just aren't ready for us, and we need it to ship today. But if that kind of technology becomes available, we'd love to be able to migrate it and actually even decentralize further.
I saw that as a potential layer for you.
Absolutely. We were very excited about that. Actually, when MadeSafe first announced their technology in March of last year, in about 2 hours, I decided to fly to the Austin Bitcoin conference to meet David Irvin. And I actually had a 4-hour meeting with him at dinner, and I was super excited about what they're doing. But once again, it wasn't ready, and we needed to ship much sooner than that. So we opted to build our own, and actually it's built out of open source software, which is using the Git.
Up next, we have Marcia Dansizen from RIBBIT.me.
Thank you. First of all, I want to welcome all of you to the sunny state of Florida, my home state. I'm very pleased to be here representing RIBBIT.me. Can you hear me now? Thank you, because I want to be heard.
There's some seats up here too.
Just to stay up.
Just hold it.
It's not working. There we go. Once again, I'm Marcia Dansizen. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer for RIBBIT.me. Very pleased to be here, and I'm happy to welcome you to the sunny state of Florida, which is my home state, and excited to tell you about the technology that we've introduced. Okay, there we go. I want to spend just a second talking about our team because I think our team represents the credibility that we have in our product. Sean Dennis, entrepreneur. Greg Simons, a CFO, former investment banker, Columbia MBA, US CPA. Dr. Bob McElrath is our Chief of Coin Development, worked on the CERN project, a little project over in France you may have heard of. He's a nuclear physicist. And then myself, I have 20 years marketing background in high-tech companies and financial services, both B2B and B2C. Most recently, head of global marketing for FIS, the largest payment processor in the world. Hold on. Okay, RIBBIT Rewards. RIBBIT Rewards is the first rewards program based on blockchain technology. We actually have the patent pending, and that patent is it's a utility patent pending on the use of blockchain technology as a reward to incentivize commerce. We think that's really important. Some of the other benefits of our product is the rewards are taken off balance sheet. I want to explain what that means for those of you that aren't in accounting because it's become a key differentiator for who we are. Basically, our rewards do not require a future performance obligation on the part of the merchant or rewards program issuer because they're issued by the blockchain. So that's been a huge differentiator for our product versus other rewards programs out there. We offer a white labeling program so that merchants can white label our product. And also, there's no cost for the merchant to offer RIBBIT Rewards. Marketplace.life. You heard a little bit about another marketplace yesterday. Ours is a free-to-use, eBay-like, direct peer-to-peer marketplace. There's no cost to sell, and both buyers and sellers earn RIBBIT Rewards with each transaction. Basically, if any of you use, obviously, eBay right now, you're hit at the end of the month with that commission piece, and that's no fun. So this is a free-to-use, so we do have an advantage with that. You can use multiple currencies in a single transaction. For example, a buyer can pay in US dollars, and the seller can receive their payment in Bitcoin. And it supports all fiat and digital currencies. And for that reason, we see ourselves, everything that we're doing is about taking our digital currencies and Bitcoin technology, blockchain technology to the mainstream. And so we see ourselves as a bit of a unifier from that perspective in that we do accept all digital currencies and we see our marketplace and RIBBIT Rewards as mainstream products. Some of the major projects we have pending, we're working with 2 large fintech companies who are very interested in that off-balance sheet, prospect of our rewards program. Numbers are being tossed around like savings in the rewards industry of billions of dollars a year as a result of that. 2 of 5 top major accounting firms, we're speaking to them about our product and how that works, and also 1 major credit card issuer at this point in time. So we are seeking investment today for more technological development. We're looking at building our mobile app and need some support with that, our merchant plugin, our white label program that needs to be packaged up and ready to go, and building our blockchain decentralized exchange for our marketplace.
Thank you.
Yes. Had to come in on time.
So rewards program for using Bitcoin like a wallet, so you'd get Coinbase points essentially in this model, right?
Yes, basically it's for using any kind of currency. In other words, if you're doing business on our marketplace, whether buying or selling, for each transaction, RIBBIT rewards are earned. A buyer gets a share, the seller gets a share, and also a percentage goes to charity.
And does it always have to be RIBBIT rewards, or can you white label it to say I want to have Coinbase points for my,
White labeling it is a big part of our program, offering that ability. Yes.
And so the rewards business is relatively mature, airlines
Yes.
and all this other stuff. Who do you compete with, and why do you think you're going to be successful doing that? Because the rewards business is massive, or do you believe no one's focusing on Bitcoin, so you're trying to build this case yourself?
Well, we've built this up. What we're really talking about here is blockchain technology, and our marketplace will accept all digital currencies, Bitcoin, et cetera, and all major currencies, fiat and digital. And so the rewards program industry is a mature industry, but what we offer, this thing with the off-balance sheet, is a huge differentiator for us. And a lot of the rewards programs that are out there are wanting to talk to us about the possibility of using our technology.
It's not really clear to me why being on the blockchain changes accounting rules. Can you talk a bit more about that?
I can. And what I did is I had my CFO actually write it out for me because I wanted to be able to respond to that in detail. Since I'm a marketer, I'm not obviously an accountant. But basically, the way it works is when a reward today is issued by a merchant in a legacy rewards program or an existing rewards program, it is a contract with the customer representing a future performance obligation. Now, accounting standards require a deferral of revenue at the time of sale, equal to the expected value of that future performance obligation. That deferral is a liability on the balance sheet. When a merchant gives a reward issued by the blockchain, it does not represent a contract with the customer. There is no future performance obligation. Therefore, there is no need to defer any revenue at the time of sale. No liability is created, and all revenue is recognized immediately.
Then what exactly does the reward mean?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
I mean, if there's no liability attached, then what does a reward mean?
Well, basically, you're offered the reward, and the reward is usable for whatever the reward is. For example, if it's if American Airlines, I'm now defunct, it's a bad example, but if an airline program was going to white label our program, obviously, when they offer their rewards, they would really be RIBBIT rewards, and they would be used just the way any airline reward is used. So, but the benefit for the airline is it's off balance sheet.
Isn't a big part of eBay the reputational system? So having identity and reputation stored in a central place could actually be a good thing?
I don't understand the technical aspects of your question.
It's not very technical. There's certain things that are good to centralize, like,
Yes.
people's identity and reputation are kind of...
Yes.
And we don't, according to Peter, we don't really have those systems yet in a decentralized way, or at least not well developed. So what I like about eBay is that I know that if I go buy something, I can look and see whether or not they scammed somebody before or whether they're a great person or not. So you have this kind of, experience there, which I think that's pretty hard to replicate, decentralized.
Yes.
Right, so how do you do that in your decentralized eBay peer-to-peer marketplace?
I really would have to defer that question. I'd love to have that conversation with you, with my CFO or with our Chief Development Officer to help you to understand that piece of it.
As much as I would like to support a fellow Floridian,
Yes.
anyone who attempts to patent some of this technology is going to get a boycott by me, both on a personal level and investment level.
Agreed.
I respect your position.
Thank you.
Up next is Joey Krug from AUGUR.
In 1906. In 1906, in Plymouth County, England, there was a fair, and they asked people to guess the weight of an ox. The average person guessed an average of 1,197 pounds. Their range was from 200 pounds to 8,000 pounds. However, the actual weight of the ox, 1,198 pounds. And that principle is known as wisdom of the crowd, and it's what our project fundamentally relies on. So we decided that we wanted to bring the wisdom of the crowd to the general public so they can actually use it for things to make decisions, forecast events. And the best way to do that is with a prediction market. There have been a few prediction markets before. The policy analysis market was ran by the CIA, and InTrade, which was ran from like 2002 to 2013, upon which it got shut down. So the problems with prediction markets have historically been they're centralized. So a few things can happen. People can run away with your money. They can lie on what actually happened. And they can basically make it so basically governments can shut them down much easier because they're centralized. So here's an example from InTrade. And we have a price chart here. And this basically explains how prediction markets work. So you buy and sell shares in the outcome of an event, whether Obama or Romney will win the election. The current share price is basically what the market thinks the odds are of that person winning. So Obama's shares are 585. You convert that to a percentage, and he has 58.5% chance of winning. If you bought Obama shares, you would get $10 at the conclusion of the market because Obama won. So the way we're doing this is we're decentralizing every aspect of it, from buying and selling shares to the resolution of outcomes. We utilize Ethereum, and we plan to use Blockstream sidechains to allow people to buy and sell shares with Bitcoin. Here's a screenshot from our prototype. You can see on the left, we have this thing called branches. They're basically just categories. So you can have a science category. You could have a politics category. You could even have a market to allow people to bet on science research. So you could fund science research with this. Here's a few questions. Cash, and you can trade, buy and sell outcomes. And so basically, when a decision expires, people report on what actually happened. In the case of the Mars one, it got reported as a no. That's it.
Thank you.
How does it work?
So the way it works is, this is a really long question. I'll try to make it as short as possible. I encourage you to come and talk to me afterwards. The key crux is the decision of the outcome. The rest of the stuff's very easy to do on Ethereum. The way we decide the outcomes, though, is we have hopefully thousands of nodes or peers reporting on what the outcome was. And if you lie, you lose reputation. If you tell the truth, you gain reputation.
So it's based on the consensus of that network, or is there a smart oracle that you tap, or how does that?
So
that's the crux of this.
It's
right?
basically a hugely distributed oracle system. Instead of just like 7 of 10, you have thousands.
Why do you do on Ethereum versus using a network that's already built out?
So the reason we're doing it on Ethereum is because it's much easier to write smart contracts on Ethereum than, say, extending Bitcoin, for instance. And we handle all of the buying and selling of shares using smart contracts, and it would just take forever to do on Bitcoin.
Thank you.
Next up, we have an extraordinary young gentleman from Zimbabwe named Tawanda Kimbo, and he's representing Crypto Counter.
Hi, my name is Tawanda. I'm from Zimbabwe. So our product is a smart ATM. But before I get into what it is and what it does, I first want you guys to understand the problem. So the challenge for any financial services application operating in Africa today is when Africans hear the word money, they think cash. So we use cash to buy our houses, we use cash to buy cars, we use cash for everything. And financial services applications, by their very nature, are digital and not cash. So banks didn't get this for decades. The first companies to get these were mobile network operators. So this is a picture in Harare, the city I live in. And you can see we basically have a mobile money agent at every street corner. So mobile money is just as good as cash because it's so easy to convert mobile money to cash. I took another picture inside one of those shops, and you can see in this shop that there are actually two mobile money agents in one shop. So that's how ubiquitous it is. So it's just as good as cash. So Bitcoin is mobile money on steroids. So in a country where everyone is using mobile money, which is digital, and people are underbanked, everyone is going to start using Bitcoin, right? Yes or yes? Well, the reality is no. And the reason is Bitcoin is digital, and therefore Bitcoin is not cash. So this is the problem we tried to solve. And we thought long and hard, and the solution to us was obvious. We need to put a Bitcoin ATM in every street corner. So we looked at all the alternatives. We looked at the expensive ones, which go for 30K, which was not really a scalable model. So we looked at the cheap ones, which go for $9.99, but the features were so limited. The frustration was the products which were not designed for our market didn't actually, were not relevant inside our market. So we decided to create our own, and we spent the last 6 months working on this product here. It's called the Crypto Counter. It's a smart ATM, and let me give a few practical applications of what we can use it for. Practical application number one, we are still doing our numbers, but so far it looks like we may be able to just bring the price to around $600. So we can potentially put one of these devices in every street corner. But okay, let's look for a less optimistic example. This is a picture of a shop owner with a mobile money agent as well. Let's say, for example, they are going to get a crypto counter and put it inside their shop.
Sorry, but we're going to run out of time. Thank you.
Unfortunately, we've run out of time. Okay, so I'll take questions.
So who do you sell these ATMs to? Or do you run them and take a margin? What's the model?
The model is we're going to use distributors to put these ATMs on every street corner.
Okay.
How much does a box cost? How much does an ATM cost?
So the advantage of this ATM is you can build your ATM. So we've standardized different components. We're calling them accessories. So you can basically, starting from $600, you can have an ATM inside your shop, but you can upgrade it if you need maybe one which is a faster cash dispenser or a faster cash acceptor.
So 600 would be the lowest, and then you add a cash dispenser, add other features, it goes up from there.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Why not just put the software on their phone?
The idea is to find a solution which allows you to turn your Bitcoin into cash, to make Bitcoin just as good as cash. And that's what we do with this ATM.
You still need to onboard your cash to get Bitcoin, essentially.
Yes, if you're trying to buy Bitcoin, you can use cash to buy Bitcoin. But you can also convert Bitcoin to cash.
And what are you doing? I've seen a lot of ATM models over the last year, and a lot of them look at transactions, but they forget that over the course of building these transactions, they're missing the relationship. So what's your strategy on the wallet that you implement? Because you're going to be the first experience you're going to have with Bitcoin, and it's a seminal experience, a seminal relationship you're building there. So what's the wallet strategy in this? I view this as a Trojan horse to get wallets, to enable people, to on-ramp people. So what does that look like?
It's unfortunate I didn't get time to get to that part. But the advantage of this ATM is the smart ATM. So you can swap different components because we've standardized components. But you can also install applications on top of it because it comes with an app store. So you can potentially use it for not just Bitcoin, which is good for those who are new and getting introduced to Bitcoin. You can use it for mobile money. You can build an app which allows you to exchange Bitcoin for mobile money, which is huge there, and many applications we haven't thought of yet.
Great, thank you.
Up next, we have a couple of last-minute additions. First of all is CryptoKit and Anthony Diorio.
Thank you. I'm the CEO and founder of CryptoKit. CryptoKit's the easiest and fastest Bitcoin wallet to set up and the easiest one to make Bitcoin payments with online. The problem that we were trying to solve is to create a frictionless experience for people using Bitcoin. We hate passwords, we hate logins, we hate usernames. We tried to avoid all that with what we're doing. So CryptoKit itself is a suite of user-friendly applications that provide a frictionless Bitcoin experience. We've got 4 different product offerings. We have the CryptoKit extension, which is a Chrome browser plugin extension. We have Rush Wallet, an HTML5 instant Bitcoin wallet. CryptoKit app, iOS and Android, that we'll be launching within the next 2 months. And we have a hardware wallet that we have the prototype already done with, which we expect to launch in mid-2015. CryptoKit, the extension, it's a Bitcoin wallet. It's a suite of crypto tools, encrypted messaging, news and charts, Bitcoin directory. You move your mouse around the screen to create your wallet. No logins, no usernames, no passwords. Everything is stored client-side. No copying, pasting addresses anymore. It automatically grabs addresses on the page, populates it into the extension for 2-click payments. Optional passwords. We believe in adding levels of security and giving the users choice from the beginning. Also has extract list, merchant directory. Everything stored client-side. The encrypted messaging is built on GPG encryption. And 100% control of the user has 100% control of his funds. This is just a word cloud of the reviews that we've gotten on the Chrome store. It's 5-star rated. It's got 6,500 users right now and 115 positive reviews. Our second product is HTML5 Bitcoin wallet called Rush Wallet. Move your mouse around, you got a wallet. It's more of a hot-based system that you can actually add a password to add an encrypted password in the URL. You bookmark your URL to access your wallet in the future. Again, no logins, no usernames, no passwords, unless you want to add one on. Very similar things. I don't need to go through all these because of time. It's very similar to CryptoKit. Our apps, very similar as well, iOS and Android, the suite of tools, including the messaging. We also add one-name functionality for easy messaging and easy Bitcoin addresses, which convert to a registered name rather than having a long string of a Bitcoin address. Very similar things again. And our last offering is a hardware wallet, which is basically the final thing to add security to our product. We go from the very basic hot wallet with no usernames or passwords, then you can add a password if you want, and then you can secure it with a hardware wallet that creates the private public key pair on the device, sends a public key to CryptoKit, and without being connected, you'll never be able to send from that wallet. We've got it set right now to go through USB, and it's also Bluetooth enabled. However, we're not sure if we're actually going to implement the Bluetooth on it. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You had a lot of good security stuff. You knew Peter Todd was going to be on the panel, right?
Yeah, I know.
So I've used Rush Wallet. I think if anybody hasn't used it, you should try it. It's a great form factor to play around with. One thing that jumped out at me was the messaging piece. And tell me about that as part of your strategy, because you don't see that with a lot of other wallet companies.
Sure. So CryptoKit is a suite of tools. So we want to do everything. In the extension, it's not the most easy thing to use, but it's the easiest way to use PGP encryption. So you're basically, you have a key pair, private public key pair. You have your own private key which stays client side, and you're importing other people's public keys for the messaging. You get little notifications when people are sending you messages right inside of CryptoKit. With one name now, we can implement the PGP system on name